Hi, welcome to the Dan Expedition. I'm Dan, and thank you for joining me on the very first episode. If you didn't catch my introduction, the expedition is all about exploration. Join me on each episode as we delve into all things artistic, cultural, historical, or just damn interesting. This is the first season and it's all in Japan. And if somehow I don't bring you the cultural, the artistic, or the historical, it's going to be interesting. It's Japan. And what better way to celebrate the first episode than with a festival? A celebration of epic proportions that's been around for over 1,000 years, just like my YouTube channel will be. Now, in full disclosure, this is a single person production. It's just me, and it took me quite some time to get to this stage and provide you with something that I feel proud of. Now, without further ado, welcome to the first episode, and let's have a look at Kyoto's Gion Matsuri. The Gion Matsuri in Kyoto, the Kanda Matsuri in Tokyo, and the Tenjin Matsuri in Osaka are considered to be the three greatest festivals in Japan. And it just so happens that among these, it is said that the Gion Matsuri just might be the largest and most extravagant. It was formerly a Shinto festival, and its origins were tied in the purification and pacification of disease-causing entities, and we'll get into that more soon. There are many ceremonies held during the festival. But it is best known for its two grand float procession parades, or Yamaboko Junko. The larger parade, the Saki Matsuri Junko, is on July the 17th, and the Ato Matsuri Junko on the 24th. You can pay for seating in front of the city hall in advance, but the float procession takes place over quite a long route, so you can usually find a good place to watch. Each parade also has a procession of portable shrines, or Mikoshi Togyo, starting at about 6 p.m. from Yasaka Shrine. The event involves carrying the shrine's deity out of the shrine grounds and through the town in a Mikoshi, or portable shrine, which is placed on wooden beams and carried on the shoulders of volunteers. from Yasaka Shrine and ending at the Otabishu in downtown Kyoto. The 14th to the 16th and the 21st to the 23rd of July. The 3 evenings preceding the parades are spent in a celebration known as Yoiyama. During these nights, people can visit the floats which are parked around the central city and see them up close. All of Kyoto is in an incredibly festive mood at this time. On one of the main streets of Kyoto right now, and it's closed for cars, and there's so many people here. and the streets are lined with stalls with games and food like yakitori, barbecue chicken skewers, handmade mochi, takoyaki, fried octopus balls, beef skewers,
Very nice.
karage chicken,
Very, very yummy chicken. Good. Maybe later, not right now. Thank you so much. Arigato.
Very delicious food.
Oh, is it? What is it? What is it? What's it called?
Mariaki.
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 Delicious food. Famous in Kyoto.
Looks good.
and many other culinary delights.
こちらプレーンのがこれ
I found two of my favorite stalls here. One's got steamed pork bun. It smells amazing. Now, I found my favorite stall, and I'm gonna get it next. My favorite stall on the market here.
Asahi, super dry.
Oh, thank you very much. Alright, excellent. I got my steamed pork dumpling, I got my beer. Asahi super dry. Actually, I love super dry. It's good, a little bit proppy. This pork bun is going down so nice. Have a look inside of this. That's like just nice, big chunky pork right there. Beautiful. And then essentially get this little net, and then you can keep on catching fish, but the net will actually eventually break. The bigger the fish, or the more times you use, or just going through the water. So it's kind of a game of subtlety and patience. See how many fish you can get before the net breaks. So it's pretty fun. Matcha Beer. Oh, look at this. Matcha Beer. That's not bad. That's not bad. Hey, I don't mind it. Matcha Beer. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Among the many events that take place in this month-long festival is the Byobu Matsuri, or Folding Screen Festival. Known to be the hidden gem of Kyoto's Gion Festival and occurring on the same days as Yoiyama, families and even businesses around the route of the procession open their homes and display the many artful crafted screens, calligraphy, paintings and other Japanese cultural treasures that have been passed down through the generations. It offers an intimate experience that allows you to connect deeply with the city, its families, and their artistic and cultural heritage. Unlike museums where artworks are often displayed behind glass, the Byobu Matsuri allows visitors to view these works in their intended setting. It's a personal encounter with Japanese art and culture where you can observe the intricate details and craftsmanship up close. Be sure to have your stamp book if you're collecting them, as each float will have a stamp or three that you can collect from about 100 to 500 yen each. The Gion Matsuri festival dates back to the Goryoe ritual. In Old Japanese, the E in Goryoe means gathering. The word Goryo refers to the souls of the dead who died violently or without proper rites and still have anger or regret. It was believed that these vengeful souls, or Goryo, spread infectious diseases and cause natural disasters in the living world. In order to ward against this evil, gatherings were held in which people would lead these malevolent souls to heaven, and this festival became known as Goryoe. In the year 869, during the early Heian period, when Kyoto was still the capital of Japan and the whole country was in the grips of plague, the reigning emperor decreed that special prayers be said at Gion Shrine, the old name of Yasaka Shrine, for the immediate end of the terrible disease. Yasaka Shrine erected 66 pikes, or halberds, representing the 66 provinces of the country, and offered them as a prayer to the god of disease and healing, ox-headed heavenly king Gozu Tenu. The Goryoe ritual and the festival of Gozu Tenu merged and became known as the Gion Goryoe, or Gion ritual, and this is said to be the origin of the Gion Matsuri festival. Though it's also claimed the god or kami, Gozu Tenu, has Korean roots, it's generally thought that the deity was introduced when Buddhism came to Japan around the 6th century. Buddhism deities and the native Japanese kami cults, which collectively became known as Shinto, fused to such a degree it was difficult to tell them apart. This syncretism of Shinto and Buddhism, commonly referred to as Shimbutsu Shugu, led to the view that the Shinto kami were local manifestations of the universal Buddhist pantheon. When the Meiji government took power in 1868, their ideology of purifying the Japanese culture developed as a response to Western influence and centered on restoring imperial rule to Emperor Meiji. Although the emperor had no political power, he had long been viewed as a symbol of Japanese culture and historical continuity. This political event, now termed the Meiji Restoration, also targeted religion. A strict policy for the separation of Shinto and Buddhism, or Shimbatsu Bunri, came into effect. With this, Gion Shrine's name changed to Yasaka Shrine, and the resident chief kami changed from the ox-headed heavenly king Gozu Tenu to Susanoo no Mikoto. It is worth mentioning that Yasaka Shrine holds that both chief kami as well as the two extended kami in the shrine's deity trio as being the same. In Japanese Shinto mythology, the spirit of the storm and sea, the god Susanoo no Mikoto, was enshrined in Yasaka Shrine. See, Susanoo is believed to have the power of combating plague, and so they transferred his spirit to several sacred carriages known as Mikoshi for the Gion Goryoe and now the Gion Matsuri. The Mikoshi are carried into the middle of Kyoto by the young men of the city and the neighboring farms to purify the streets and ward off potential epidemics and harm. From the year 970, the Gion ritual became an annual event. From that time through to the end of the Heian period of 794 to 1185, the ritual started to transform into a festival for large numbers of people. By the end of the 10th century, large floats, musicians, dancers, comic plays, and artistic treasures were all part of the celebrations. By the end of the Kamakura period of 1185 to 1333, it had also become a way for craft guilds and merchant families to compete in showing off their wealth and taste. The infamous Oda Nobunaga restored the festival in the 16th century after it stopped for 3 decades following the devastation of central Kyoto from the Onin War. As time progressed, the floats became increasingly elaborate and heavier. Large wheels were added so that the floats could be rolled. And during the Muromachi period of 1336 to 1573, the floats acquired a second story for musicians and page boys, and the Yamaboko floats, which can be seen in the present-day Gion festival, began to appear. In the 17th century, during the Edo period, treasures and ornaments were imported from China, Persia, and even Europe to decorate the floats and add to their splendor and beauty. The floats in the Yoiyama parade are divided into two groups. The larger Hoko, or halberd, are 2 stories and can weigh up to 12 tons. And the smaller Yama, or mountain, weighing around 1.5 tons, are about 6 meters high, and they are collectively known as Yamaboko. The origins of the designs and themes of the Hoko floats can mostly be found in either ancient Japanese or Chinese legends or folktales. The Hoko represent the 66 halberds or spears used in the original purification ritual, and the Yama carry life-size figures of Shinto deities, Buddhist bodhisattvas, and other historic and cultural figures. With the exception of the Naginata Hoko float, which originates in the Goryoe ghost rituals, and the Kasa Hoko, decorated umbrella floats created from the belief that umbrella canopies represent the divine spirit. There are also floats such as the Ashikari Yama, Tokusu Yama, and Kurunushi Yama, whose designs are based on songs from no theatre plays.
Behind me at the moment is one of the 23 floats currently dotting Kyoto City. They're part of the Gion Matsuri festival. Each one has its own story, and this one has the story of the praying mantis.
Over the centuries, there have been floats that have been lost or destroyed. But today, local neighborhood associations work hard, and several have been restored in recent years. Float associations organize the replacement of tapestries by purchasing antique tapestries from around Japan, organizing replicas, or by designing and commissioning new ones to be made by the weavers of Kyoto's famous traditional Nishijin weaving district. And when they are not in use, the floats and their regalia are kept in special storehouses throughout the central districts of Kyoto.
heading home. Everyone's tired, eating something on the side of the streets, in the gutters. In a lot of places that would be a very dirty thing to do, but not here. It's clean as. Everything's so clean.
Wow, what an amazing time that was. And tell me, do you think I should have left the whole Matcha Beer thing in? I mean, it's not really me, you know, it's kind of like festival me.
Matcha Beer.
And just for reference for future viewers, this is the Gion Matsuri 2024. My show is about the history and sometimes the why or how of things, people, places, or events. It's generally not about displaying the latest. So if you're watching this years from now, please know that while things may be updated, the history remains the same. The Gion Matsuri parade itself goes from 2 to 3 hours, so we're not going to watch the whole thing. The route of the parade is mostly on main roads, which is impressive to see the parade procession spread out on some of Kyoto City's most expansive roads. And it's even more interesting on the corners of the parade, because then you'll get a chance to see them turn these giant Hoko floats, which can be quite a sight to see. Now, right at the end is an opportunity to see these floats up close. And that's where we are. So let's have a look at the parade. The Kanko Boko. Kanko is the Japanese name for the Hangu Pass in Chinese Shaanxi Province. It's an historic strategic fortification on the Great Wall. The theme for this float is inspired by a unique historical episode during the Warring States period. Lord Meng Chang of Qi was admired for welcoming all kinds of people and for recognizing talent where others didn't. He had taken under his protection a man whose talent was to perfectly mimic any sound. When Lord Chang and his men were in a life or death situation in Hangu and needed to escape through the pass in the middle of the night, the man mimicked a rooster's crowing so well, he tricked the pass guards into believing it was dawn. They opened the gates and unwittingly granted the men their freedom. The Kanko Boko community follows in the spirit of Lord Chang, as they are known for being outspoken with its support for women and the Gion Festival. Officially, the festival is men only, as it has been for at least 3 centuries. Nonetheless, it was one of the first communities to allow women to board its float during the Yoiyama celebrations, and the musical troupe has openly included women for the last 2 decades. Hangu Pass is also considered the birthplace of Taoism, where Lao Tzu is said to have written the Tao Te Ching. In early Goryeo purification rites and Heian period rituals, Wagasa, also known as parasols and umbrellas, were often held over nobles, officials, or sacred objects to denote their status or sanctity. For centuries they were considered luxury status symbols, and red silk parasols were reserved for emperors and nobles. The bright red hue of these umbrellas isn't just for aesthetic impact. It carries a protective and ritual significance. Red in traditional Japanese culture is considered a purifying and protective color, believed to ward off illness, misfortune, and malevolent spirits. These wagasa are considered yorishiro, objects that invite kami into the parade. The umbrella canopy gathers the sacred spirits under it, linking the bearer to the purification of the city. Thus the red wagasa, like the Mikoshi and ritual music, help soothe wrathful spirits and bring purity to the land. In the Gion Matsuri, these umbrellas are considered kasaboko, which literally translates to umbrella float. While not floats in the towering Hoko sense, they are instead symbolic representations of portable shrines. Their placement in the front of the Hoko is not incidental either. It preserves an ancient tradition of leading the spiritual journey. These Wagasa are ceremonial markers. They not only announce the troop and float, but also channel the protective kami's presence. This is why you often see the umbrellas at the front of processions. They lead the way as a spiritual marker, much like a Mikoshi would. The dancing you see right now is known as Bofuri Bayashi. It's unique to Kasa Hoko. The stick movements are both ritualistic and performative, often interpreted as a kind of martial dance or as a visual expression of the music's rhythm and spirit. By performing both together, with the two drummers in masks, one man holds the drum and another beats it while dancing, and together they disperse misfortune. The music you've been hearing is made up of flutes, drums, and gongs, and it's known as Gion Bayashi. It's the traditional festival music performed during Kyoto's Gion Matsuri. The word Bayashi directly means festival music or musical accompaniment. The word Bofuri means stick swinging or staff twirling. The Ayagasa Hoko. Before evolving into the elaborate Hoko of today, floats originally began as simple ritual poles, halberds or spears with cloth attached to them. The Kasa Hoko or umbrella Hoko is one of the oldest forms of Hoko, and while the Ayagasa Hoko itself has been rebuilt and repaired through the years, records indicate it existed as a float before the Onin War in the first half of the 15th century. Furyu Hayashimono is a dance which aimed at the dispersion of disaster or disease and also to welcome and send off divine spirits. It's said that Kasa Hoko and Bofuri Bayashi are meaningless when they exist by themselves. Only when both are moving together can they have the meaning as Furyu Hayashimono. There are two floats with the Ayagasa Hoko. One has a carved wooden sacred object, a lacquered chicken on top. The other, a pine tree decorated on the tip. The Ashikari Yama. The scene of this float is derived from an old No song, Ashikari the Reed Cutter. It's based on a poem about a couple living in North Osaka, who had to separate because of poverty. There seems to be a few variations, but the main one seems to be that the wife went to Kyoto to work and the man became a reed cutter. It depicts him being all alone on the beach of Ninawa, cutting reeds. In the No play, the couple is finally reunited and return to the capital where they used to live together before the separation. The theme of this float is reconciliation in marriage. The Taisha Yama, the only float in the procession to be made out of cedar rather than pine. The deity of the float is Prince Shotoku from the 6th century as a boy. He is known for laying the foundations of Buddhism in Japan and is widely revered by people regardless of their religious sects. The theme of this float is a legend of when he wanted to establish a temple. He climbed into the mountains himself, searching for fine wood for its construction. On the mountain, an old man told him about a tall sacred cedar, and there he went and built a hexagonal temple. The Shijo Kasa Hoko. The highlight of the Shijo Kasa Hoko is its children's dance and music. In the dance, two boys wear costumes with bear wigs and wave long poles in a lively dance called Bo Shibari, or the one swinging dance. 6 more boys dressed in costume accompany the dance with various percussion instruments, bells and drums. Though it was restored around 1985, the origins of this float date back to the 15th century. The large umbrella is decorated with sacred paper and has a pine tree on the top, with people dressed in traditional costumes alongside. The trees you see on the top of the floats act as yorishiro, or spirit-inviting objects. They are believed to attract and temporarily house divine spirits. By placing a tree on top of the float, they invite a deity to accompany the procession so it may offer its protection and blessings to the city. The use of trees also evokes the atmosphere of sacred forests, known in Shinto as places where kami naturally reside. By including branches or entire saplings, they recreate that sanctified space within this urban environment. Historically, this practice also connects to the festival's earliest origins, when rituals centered around Mikoshi or portable shrines and sacred tree offerings that were performed to appease the gods during plagues and disasters. These traditions have been carried into the modern era through this symbolic act with living greenery. The Toro Yama. Toro Yama, also known as the Mantis float, is dedicated to the 14th century Kyoto noble Shijo Takasuke, who bravely fought and fell against the much stronger forces of Ashikaga Yoshiakira, the future shogun during the period of political divide in the 14th century. This float features a large mantis atop its structure, inspired by the Chinese proverb, "Though a mantis is not strong enough to stop an ox cart, it may still boldly try." Takasuke's courage was likened to that of the mantis, outmatched yet unafraid to face overwhelming odds. The float stands as a tribute to his fearless spirit. It's also worth noting that all four of Toro Yama's main tapestries are contemporary works by the famous Yuuzhan dyeing artist Tokyo Hata.
Hey guys, it's Dan from the Dan Expedition. I'm at the Gion Matsuri Festival in Kyoto. It's in full swing. It's a hot, bright, sunny day. Loving it.
The Tsuki Hoko, the moon float. Tsuki Hoko is dedicated to Japan's moon god, Tsukiyomi no Mikoto. The float has a crescent moon or Tsuki symbol that can be found right at the top, and in the middle of the sacred pole is a small figure of Tsukiyomi, the moon deity. While the West sees an old man on the moon, the Japanese see a rabbit. As such, lavish carvings of rabbits leaping decorate the inside of the float. The outside body of the float is decorated with beautiful antique carpets from India and Turkey. Having survived several great fires over the centuries, Boko is one of the oldest floats and as such features extensive historic treasures. In the float's home display area, you can see a rare early 17th century medallion carpet from Lahore that is said to be the festival's most valuable. You can also see the beautifully embroidered panels of mythical beasts that previously adorned the float. The Chrysanthemum Dew Float, Kikusei Boko. Kikusei means chrysanthemum water and refers to a Chinese legend and a Japanese no theatre play that attribute eternal youth to drinking the morning dew from the leaves of the chrysanthemum. In the 16th century, a monk and student of acclaimed tea master Sen no Riku, the creator of the contemporary tea ceremony, raised a small tea hut at the site of this float. Also at the site was a well which he found to have particularly sweet tasting water, for which he named the Kikusei well. Since those times, the float's neighborhood has had ties to the tea ceremony, and for about 2,000 yen, you can refresh yourself from the festival with matcha tea. You can also watch a tea ceremony in the midst of some of the float's treasures and obtain a chrysanthemum-shaped ceramic dish as a memento. It's said that the Urasenki tea masters and their students come from all around Kyoto to help prepare and serve the tea. Urasenki is one of the three main schools of Japanese tea ceremony, all tracing back to the founder of tea ceremony, Sen no Rikyu. Iwato Yama. Iwato Yama is known as the Stone Door Float. Its name and its theme come from Japan's two oldest texts, the Kojiki and the Nihon Shoki. At the event of Ama no Owatu, literally heavenly rock cave, Amaterasu Omakami, the sun goddess, in anger towards her violent younger brother, Susanoo no Mikoto, god of storms and the sea, hid herself away in the cave, covering the land in darkness. There are multiple stories on what happened, but most say that the multitudinous gods gathered to entice her to leave, with attempts to lure her out with cocks crowing, music making, and a goddess dancing. Amaterasu, growing curious, peeked out of the cave entrance, and a mirror hanging from a nearby tree caught her attention. She became fascinated with her own reflection in the mirror, known as Yata no Kagami, which the other gods had crafted. The deity Ami no Tajikarao, a deity or kami of physical strength, forced the cave open and allowed the other deities to lure Amaterasu and her sunlight back out, literally saving the day. One intriguing thing to note is that the dark, sacred male samurai statue at the top is actually a male depiction of Amaterasu, the sun goddess. Fune Boko, the ship float. Fune means ship, and this ship-shaped float stands out for its unique form. Its theme is based on the legendary voyage that Empress Jingu made to conquer the Silla Kingdom in the Korean Peninsula in the 3rd century. Empress Jingu is a fascinating and controversial personage. While her title is Empress, in those ancient times, it's said she would have been more of a shamanistic tribal leader, with the tale of her voyage full of divination and interactions between gods and humans. The head of the float is crowned by Geki, a legendary phoenix bird, while the helm depicts traditional flying dragon patterns. So as mentioned, I was there for the Saki Matsuri Junko on the 17th. Now, I didn't know this at the time, but directly after the Ato Matsuri Junko on the 24th is the Hanagaza Junko, or Flower Hat Procession, and something that I am truly disappointed that I missed out on seeing. So I'm going to tell you about it instead, to make sure you don't miss out on it. The Hanagaza Junko was established in 1966 as a supplementary parade to the Gion Matsuri. Because the main float processions are historically male-dominated, the Hanagaza Junko was created to revive traditional dance and costume practices while diversifying participation. It has somewhat become known as the Women's Parade, though it's much more inclusive than that. Unlike the Yamaboko parade, the Hanagaza Junko emphasizes community participation and cultural expressions, with a vibrant and diverse array of participants, usually numbering around 1,000, full of musicians, children, young ladies, old ladies, kids on horses, samurai warriors, etc. All in kimono or historical costumes with colorful accessories and carefully applied makeup. The Hanagaza parade is also an opportunity to see Meiko, the apprentice geisha of Kyoto. They usually take part in the parade where they're in exquisite carts pulled by the young men of Kyoto, and adding to the festive atmosphere. And after the parade, traditional Japanese cultural performances like lion dances, taiko performances, and dances by Meiko are held at Yasaka Shrine. Before we finish and proceed to the extra, just wanted to let you know that there are links below for the maps you've seen in the segment and a few other things that may be of interest. Thank you very much for joining me on the very first episode, and I look forward to seeing you next time as we continue exploring Kyoto's wonders.
Wow, so that was amazing. Definitely something special. Coming up, we've got like the last float here. It's a bit of a modern design, something a bit different. I don't think it's being taken to as much with the locals. It's not really, doesn't have as much of a following. But here, have a look. So yeah, I'm not really sure what they're going for in this one, but yeah, it's a bit different. No, seriously, but what they're doing is actually, for the parade, to actually get the floats around everything, they've actually removed the lights from the intersections on some of the roads so the floats can actually go by. It's, yeah, pretty impressive. So now they're going around putting it all back on again.